I tried to start up file 2 now, and a video began to play. Mario was strapped down on a table in a decrepit version of the castle's entrance hall. The stones were all black, blood oozing from the cracks between each of them. Curtains that hung from the ceiling were tattered and falling apart. They appeared to be worn with the years. In the background, Peach and Toadstool were strapped to both sides of the door that lead to the basement area. Toadstool had a mushroom on his head torn off. I could make out his skull showing through the still fresh wound. He was obviously dead. Peach sent me into a state of awe. Her skin was peeled off, and all I could see fully formed was her head, which remained untouched. Jesus Christ, I said silently as the video continued. Mario struggled for freedom as the door upstairs opened and a black mass slowly came through. Its footsteps solemnly echoed through the silent hall. The curtains of the ceiling blew casually to its passing as it moved down the steps towards him. Mario pulled and pulled, but found no way to escape the situation that he had found himself in. And in response he began to beg for his life and pray. The black mass inched ever closer to the hero. It seemed as though Mario gave up. The black mass walked around the table and stopped directly in front of Mario. Again the hero begged, pleaded for his life. He told the black mass that he would do anything, only spare him from any crime that he committed against it. I saw a tear roll down Mario's cheeks, and he closed his eyes tightly. A rope tied around his neck. He gagged and took in only heavy breaths. I couldn't see a hand so much as touch the rope, or where it even came from, but it was indeed there, with just enough slack so that Mario could breathe. Deep lacerations cut through Mario's clothes, and blood by the gallons covered him in a crimson pool. He screamed, begged, pleaded, asked for death, but it was not given to him. Not yet, anyways. The cuts continued until the floor covered in the dark, red liquid exuding slowly to the floor. Finally, the swipes and stabs ceased altogether, and there was a deep, methodical silence that only Mario's gasps of misery filled. Before I could so much as think on what I'd just seen, his eyes and mouth were forced shut, and I could see it for myself. A black needle going through both of his eyelids and mouths, simultaneously effectively silencing him, other than his muffled screams. Even more blood came from the fresh wounds and covered up his face. The rope tightened around Mario's neck, although he made no effort to escape. It was over. After a few short grunts, Mario was silent altogether, with not so much a breath or a movement. His face was terror personified, and even though this is a video game, the pain one would have to endure, the torture, my God, again, before the screen faded to black, that Mario smirked at me. I sat in silence. The title screen with Mario's head came up on screen. Only it wasn't the same Mario. The background was all black, and the Mario was the same Mario from the scene that I had just watched. He had that smirk still on. After much debate, I decided to keep going. I went to the file select screen and, with all the courage that my heart could muster, I loaded file 1, 66 stars. The game loaded to a demonic laugh, and a black sky filled with blood-red clouds. Repeatedly, I could hear a dark, brooding voice saying, "Game over," like Mario would after you lost all of your lives. The Mario that I was controlling was the same Mario that I had seen killed, and on the title select screen screams torment. Bodies littered the pathway to the castle. The bodies of Peach, several toadstools, and at the end a dead Bowser, whose head was missing and whose body was impaled on a pike right outside of the bridge. I entered the castle and found myself back at Big Boo's haunt. I didn't question it anymore. I just went with it. The scene had not changed, not even slightly, and ignoring all of the graphic details, I entered the mansion to what I was sure would strike my heart in some way, shape or form.